Hello everyone, my name is John Bussard. I'm an HPE Business Transformation Center engineer for Ingram Micro, help support servers, blade systems, storage, as well as networking technology solutions from HPE. In my videos, what I like to do is show you a slide from a popular PowerPoint and then demonstrate to you what that means within a management interface. Today we're going to explore an HPE ProLiant DL160 Gen10 server. And what we're actually going to do is an unboxing of this server today. So a DL160 Gen10 server would be the little brother to a DL360 based system. So they're both one-use servers, and they both have the ability to have two Intel Xeon processors installed. I would say that if your solution is more price conscious and you don't need the scalability that can be found with a DL360 server, then this might be the solution you might want to look at. Right, so we still have the ability to have up to 256 gigs of RAM with the 16 DDR4 RAM slots. There's the ability to have up to 8 small form factor hard drives or 4 large form factor hard drives. There is an integrated S100i RAID controller, which would be basic software RAID. You can integrate in on the motherboard through a special slot a hardware-based RAID controller, so that would be an upgrade to this system. You got a couple gigabit cards, but there are expansion options. The system does have 3 PCIe 3.0 slots that the system can be configured with, as well as some of the other value-add type of technologies you'll find within an HPE system, such as ILO 5s. We all come to know and love ILO 5. One of the nice things about this generation is you can purchase it with fixed power supplies, but the pre-configured systems that I've seen have had a single power supply installed with the option to add the redundant power supply without removing anything out of this system. So with all that being said, let's unbox this server and take a look at the inside. Okay, here's the box for our DL160 Gen10 server. As you can see, I've already split everything and looked inside, but I've put everything back in the way you'd normally see it. So this should be the experience that you get when you unbox one of these systems. So let's open this guy up here. Hold this back over here and here. Right up the top, I could see this. And these are the rack mount rails. HPE has a pretty nice system for their rack mounting. These are snap-in rails. Just kind of expand and snap them on in. And then on the servers themselves, you'll put these. So you'll snap these on the servers, and then they'll slide in really easy into the rails themselves. They're pretty sturdy rails. So some other things I see, certainly over here, there's a power plug, C14 to C13. Over here, there's some documentation, nothing really to write home about. Something of interest is this here, which talks about HPE's rapid setup software for HPE servers. And it talks a little bit about the simple and easy way to install operating systems as well as hypervisors, as well as some information about their ClearOS operating system, which is an interesting offering for them that you may want to look into. That's about it. The only other thing I actually see in here is some Velcro. And these don't come off, so kind of in there. There's a little cardboard up front here to keep this guy in the front of the server protected. But let me get this out of here and we'll take a look at the inside of this system. Okay, here's the top of our DL160 Gen10 server. We can get into it real easy by lifting this lever up, pulling this out. Now, of course, on the bottom of the cover is this handy-dandy sticker that gives you an overview of where components are, where the connectors are on the inside, the memory slots, as well as a view of the front of the system as well, and obviously some pertinent information related around that. It's handy. Alright, so here's the inside of the system. This system has one processor. It's ready to accept another one, and obviously with one processor I only get half of my 16 memory slots available to me. Adding the second processor will also allow me to put in a secondary riser here, which looks like it gives me another low profile adapter that I can install in here. The riser that comes with this system is here, and we can pull that out easily. Right, there it is. Take a good look at that. You can see that this side has an 16x full height, and then the other side has an 8x half height. So let's take and plug this guy back in. Now, my hard drive bays in the front are wired up through here all the way here onto the integrated rudimentary, I would say, S100 RAID controller. If you didn't need a lot of performance or just needed basic RAID sets, this controller will probably be enough for you. If you're looking at a more virtualized environment, I would imagine you're either going to put something inside this SD slot to boot off of, or this USB port to boot off of. Or if you want to use hard drives, there is a Essentials RAID controller option that you could add here, and it would bolt in here. So it's kind of on the board, and it goes into that special slot. And that would also have the ability to have a battery connected to it, which would connect right here. Now, you can get versions of the system that have a fixed power supply, so a non-redundant power supply, and you connect into here. Obviously, efficient pricing makes a lot of sense for this system, so some people may want to forego that option. This system here has the ability to have a redundant power supply in it. So currently it has one, and we'll take a look at that when I open up the back, but it has the ability to have a secondary power supply plugged in. A lot of people tend to look for that as well. Because we only have one processor installed, not all the fan bays are installed, so when you get your secondary processor option, you should get the extra fans in here. All right. The fans, they're not purple, which means they'd be hot swappable. They're not blue either, which means it'd be cold swappable. So you're going to want to unplug the power and everything from this guy, and then you could unsnap a fan right here. Get that guy out. Let's try this way. There he goes. Right, and there's one of the fans. And it looks like this guy can hold a few fans. Looks like a total of 7 of them. Alright, so that's the inside of this system. Let's turn this around and take a look at the back of this system. Okay, here's the front of our DL160 Gen10 system. This is a small form factor based system, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 bays in order to be able to install small form factor hard drives. I think it's important to note that there is a empty blank over here, empty spot for hard drive, and it doesn't have one of these fillers in it. Right, so if you were going to boot from USB or an SD card inside the system, you'd probably want to fill that up. Also looks like there might be a place for an optical drive up here. They do sell versions of this system that come with 4 large form factor drives, so you'd have 1, 2, 3, 4 across the bottom. Some other interesting things here is where you'll find your serial number. On the bottom would be some rudimentary ILO login information if you wanted to kind of connect to it remotely for the first time. Over here is a power button, some status LEDs, and then up here would be a front access USB port, and then here is a front access ILO port. So this port's handy to be able to dump ILO logs off to a USB key through the front of the system. Alright, so that's the front of our system. Let's go take a look at the back. Okay, we're finally at the back of our DL160 Gen10 system. This system doesn't have the fixed power supplies. It has the ability to have redundant power supplies. It only has one installed at this time. We can pull that guy out, take a look at it. It's a 500 watt hot swappable power supply. I can tell that because that's got a purple tab on it, so that's the back. Look over here as well. Now, if I wanted to add a secondary power supply to this guy, what I do is I pull out this filler panel here, and I'd add the extra power supply in there. Now, if I had the second processor, as well as the extra PCI Express riser board, I could add another low-profile PCI Express card here. Right. The existing riser I have in this system that I showed you is connected up to these two. So I have the ability to have a low-profile PCI Express slot here. That was connected up to the 8X PCI Express slot. And over here we have a full-height PCI Express card, and that was connected up to a 16X PCI Express slot. So some other things that we see here are a couple of 1 gig Ethernet ports. If you need 10 gig, what you're going to do is actually add something through one of these risers up here. Okay. There's a VGA port here, a dedicated ILO port, so that's nice to have, as well as a couple USB ports. All right, so that's the back of our system. I hope you found this video informative, and please stay tuned for more videos.